Hey everybody, welcome to week 11. Thank you for being flexible again. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit of a sub shortage this week, and I will be teaching an elementary grade while our class is. So thank you for being flexible and going online self-paced today. And then next week, I'll merge some of the content and get us all caught up. One thing I would love for you to do today is think about the classroom management plan. On this slide, you will see I've outlined the sections again. Next week, we do have peer review, and so please make sure you come with a couple of these sections done so that you do have an opportunity to get good feedback from your peer. And then lastly, I did want to talk a little bit about our final portfolio. The portfolio is just a summary of what you have learned in class. Start taking and looking back at notes, reflections, anything you created in breakout groups, and start to pull together some evidence of your learning in EPS 450. In the end, you're going to have some evidence pieces as part of that portfolio that really show what you have learned, and then you're going to write a 2 to 3 page reflection of what it is overall that you learned in the class. We still have a couple weeks for both of these assignments. They are not due until finals week, which I think is the second week in December, but wanted to give you a full 4 weeks, 5 weeks out kind of reminder that both of these are outlined in the syllabus, and this is a prime week to go ahead and start working on both of those because next week we're going to have the peer review, and then also I will talk a little bit more about that final portfolio and answer any questions. Today we're going to talk about student ownership and the learning continuum. On the slide, it outlines kind of 6 different pieces of how you bring student ownership into the classroom. Go ahead and read through those, and then also think about some examples, which we will review next week. You do not have to do anything in writing. Just be thinking about how can you see that come alive in your classroom. These are things you can embed into your curriculum management plan as well. So ultimately, today's lesson is really focusing on the learning continuum. The learning continuum focuses on 4 different areas. The first one being legacy teaching. Legacy teaching is very much a traditional classroom. It is where the teacher is making the decisions. They are often sharing whole group. They are typically doing face-to-face in a presentation, very much what I'm doing right now and talking at you about the content. Some examples you can see are whole group instruction, direct instruction, somewhat math tier 2, although that is a smaller group. If it is not really focused on the student and it's just the teacher presenting the lessons of their choice, it does remain in legacy. Be thinking, where have you seen legacy instruction happen? And when would you, as a teacher, embed legacy? Legacy is a perfect opportunity to do when it is new content and you're getting vocabulary or content or foundational skills out, but you want everyone to hear the same message, is a perfect time for legacy. On the learning continuum, differentiation is next. When the teacher provides instruction, the teacher is still making all of the decisions for instruction completely on their own, but they do have the same objective for small groups of students. And so they've put groups together to get a little bit better of a ratio for instruction. Some examples might be guided math centers. Some people have the daily 5 in ELA, math games, bag of books. All students do those things, and it's not really built around the assessment of the exact student needs, but it's more or less everyone's going through a different station or center at the same time, just in a smaller group or ratio. The next level on the learning continuum is individualization. This is when the teacher has used assessments based on individual students to really modify the instruction to meet that individual need. They have looked and said, what does Sarah mom need? And now I'm going to have a small group based around her specific needs. They may link a couple of them together, a couple students together, if they have similar needs and similar instructional patterns. IEPs definitely count for this. Self-chosen books where the teacher and student will conference together, and then the teacher will choose books selected for the student specifically to read based on an assessment of their learning. iReady online instruction where it individualizes for the student based on their progress. And then lastly on the learning continuum is personalization. Most people think that personalization is individualization, but the difference here is that the student, the learner, is driving the decisions. The teacher is just a facilitator of here are the goals that you need to accomplish, and then allows the student to decide, how will I accomplish that? What is my personal learning style that would complement the ability for me to show what I know in that standard? The student may select a lesson, they may select a specific flexible seating that meets their needs so that they can attend and listen better. They create their own learning path. You as the educator outlining what the objectives are they have to do, and then they are truly being their own instructor in a way and making their own decisions. You would provide still the materials, but the student might provide, here's what I'm wanting to learn next. Next week, we'll talk about more personalized learning experiences for sure. So the big question I want you to reflect on, and you do not have to write anything this week, but where do you find yourself? Where would you be mostly as a teacher? Are you most comfortable within legacy where you're direct instruction teaching? Or would you be comfortable all the way in personalization, letting the students kind of take the reins, or where in between? And that will lead to your reflection today. There are some learning continuum applications. And what I would actually like for you to do today is open up the scenarios link, and you can either make a copy and type on your copy to bring to class, or you can just write down the number of the scenario and where you think it falls on the learning continuum. When we meet next week, we will review the scenarios, and I will tell you where it falls on the continuum, and then we'll kind of discuss the ones that you had right or the ones that you question. And then that leads us for next time. Please read these 2 articles that are also in your syllabus. And here's your discussion post for this week. If you are not caught up on discussions, please do so. I will get caught up on grading this week, and then really begin to use the rest of the time tonight, because we didn't have face-to-face class or face-to-face online class. Please collect portfolio items that you might believe show your learning. And then also spend the rest of the time drafting out part of the curriculum management plan so you can get peer feedback next week. I will see you guys online next Monday.